Hey Pokemon trainers and gym leaders, the latest Pokemon sets, Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, have dropped in Japan, and with it, the new MUR Rarity tier has been released. Like we've seen with Black Bolt and White Flare, Pokemon Company have introduced a new Rarity tier ahead of special illustration rares. Let's see how the market reacts, the prices of these cards, and where we think they're headed. Let's get into the data. So up first we have the Mega Lucario EX MUR. Now out of the two, the Gardevoir and the Lucario, this is definitely my favourite. I really like the art style here and how he kind of looks like he's channeling a Super Saiyan kind of pose. As the card has only recently come out, obviously we don't have very much price charting data, but you can see that ungraded it goes for £318 or around $430. When we hop on over to eBay as well, you can see £275. I mean, a Japanese Gem Mint 10, best offer accepted. So we could speculate all day on that, but easy, probably £800 because people love to capitalise on the initial hype, and people also get that real sense of FOMO or wanting to be the first to own something, which I mean, I kind of get, but it's also so fucking stupid that you end up paying way over the odds for something that will inevitably drop, especially as soon as the English set comes out. But you can see best offer accepted, so call that one 300, 312, 360. Best offer accepted, call that 350, 315, 325. Both for 683, 302, 334, 315, 360. So you can see very consistent, upwards of £300 here. And when we compare that to the SAR version from the set, you can see ungraded £70 or $94. Again, when we hop on over to eBay, £70. That and the full art for 84. That and the Riolu for 78. All three for 386. That's actually not too bad a deal when you look at the overall pricing. 72. That and the full art for 85. 70. So again, very consistent sort of 70-75 pounds. So the MUR rarity as opposed to the SAR rarity, you can see that there is huge price disparity, and you're looking at a difference of around 200 to £230, which is absolutely crazy, especially when you think how hard like SARs are to pull. I know obviously in Japanese you have more of a guaranteed pull rate because of the stricter gambling laws, same with like Korean and simplified Chinese, but it's just interesting to see that the MUR rarity far outweighs and outvalues the price of the SAR, which is really interesting to see, especially so early on. Obviously, I know the scarcity of the card, the harder pull rates really have an impact on how much it is going to be going for in the secondary market, but also the fact that gold cards notoriously in the past haven't been that valuable. And when we look at the Mega Gardevoir as well, this one actually even outweighs the Lucario, so ungraded £326 or $440. If you enjoy this style of video, please let me know in the comment section below. Like the video or even subscribe to the channel. It really helps me know what kind of content you guys like to see, and also helps me grow this small account. Thank you. Again, when we hop on over to eBay, you can see 316, best offer accepted, call it 350, 315, 371, 310, 380. So fewer sales, but again, going for much higher amounts. And when we compare that to the SAR version, again, $170 or £125. When we hop onto eBay, you get the three for 142. Best offer accepted, call it 140, 140, 140. So this one's twice as valuable as the Lucario, interestingly, but then not as huge a price difference between the Lucario and Gardevoir MUR rarity, but again, you can see that this new tier that's been introduced has far outweighed the SARs from the set, which I think is a bit of a shame because this Gardevoir art especially I think is absolutely incredible. But I feel like this is really setting a new precedent from the Pokemon Company that any new set that comes out seems to have its own rarity tier associated to it. We saw this introduced in Black Bolt and White Flare with the BWR rarity. Here you can see the Zekrom BWR from Black Bolt. Ungraded has actually gone up in price, so it debuted at $420 and has gone up to $445, or essentially £310 to £330. And again, when we look on eBay, again, price charting is always a bit different because it takes into account a lot of US sales data. But when we look on UK eBay and just eBay in general, you can see £240, 350, best offer accepted, so call it 300, 341, 334, one bid but decent sale, 348. So you can see a very consistent sort of 3 to 350 with one outlier at 240. So someone's actually done quite well there. And then when you look at the SAR from the set as well, you can see £164, ungraded 220, debuted at 230. So actually seen a slight dip, whereas the BWR has gone up slightly. And again, like these cards are absolutely stunning, and I am a fan also of the BWR monochromatic card style. But with a set that's got this many artworks and this many cards to collect in it, again, you can see why the BWR cards go for what they do, but it almost strikes me as that this is a sort of tier pricing that goes just because of the scarcity, not necessarily because of like the artworks or people are chasing it specifically for any reason other than the monetary value, which is a true reflection of the Pokemon market at the moment. And again, when you look at eBay 140, 241 best offer accepted, that's quite out there. So even if we were to say 200 at the high end sale, 156, 185 best offer accepted, call that 150, 167, 180, 170, very consistent around that mark. And the same with the Reshiram, so debuted at 436, now dropped slightly down to 427. So whereas the Zekrom has gone up slightly, Reshiram's dipped a little bit, but again, nothing major, ungraded, £317. When we hop on over to eBay, you can see a lot of best offer accepted, so call that 320, 300, call that 320 as well. Japanese, so we don't count that one. A lot of sales, best offer accepted. Someone's probably had a bit of a deal there, although no positive feedback. Quite a risky sale there. 315, 350. I mean, the fact that it's that picture as well, that's a bit sus that someone's done that. But hey ho, you take the risk on eBay, 250. So a little bit of a steal there. Best offer accepted, call that 300. Same with this. So you can see again, very consistent, £300. When we look at the SAR version of this, $198, dropped down to 185, ungraded £137. And again, when we hop on over to eBay, you can see best offer accepted, probably 120, maybe 150 there, 156, 130, 100, call that 140. Again, you can see straight away the price disparity between the two, whereas the BWR tier is twice as valuable as the SAR version. And again, when we look at the Victini, I've gone for the White Flare version because this is the most expensive, as even though it's the same card in both sets, for some reason, we've decided that one is more valuable than the other. This one debuted at $484 and has settled around the $480 mark, so only dropped ever so slightly. You wouldn't even really consider that. Ungraded £357, and again, when we hop on over to eBay, 350, best offer accepted at 371, so probably 350 again. We're starting to see the graded cards coming in now. Japanese one, weirdly, the Japanese one is a promo, whereas in English it's just in the set, so it's not unusual for the Japanese counterpart to be more expensive than the English one in this case, but again, you can see £410. Crazy money going for these cards, but I'll go out and say I'm not even a fan of this one really, but because of that scarcity, it's driving the price up. And I think this is really a sort of movement that we're going to start seeing more and more, is that more rarity tiers get introduced, more scarcity and hype around the card drives those prices way, way up. I mean, when you think back to previous sets, like in the Sword and Shield era, you have like the Gengar alternate art, the Giratina V alternate art that go for crazy prices. But then when you look in the Scarlet and Violet era, it is just the SARs and SIRs that go for the high prices, like the Pikachu, like the Umbreon. And now it's almost they've introduced this rarity tier above that has actually pushed the SIRs down. So what would have been a chase in the past, like this Reshiram, is now replaced by the BWR tier for Black Bolt and White Flare, and then in the new Mega sets, where you would previously be chasing this like Lucario, the Gardevoir, it's being replaced with the MURs, and I think it's quite sad to see that it's like the big chases are going to be the things that aren't necessarily the best looking or most appealing. As we know, gold cards in the past haven't been that desirable. People only really have them for their master sets or if it's a particular Pokemon they're chasing. But now these cards are going to be replacing top chases, which means ARs and SIRs in general have been shunted down a tier. And the same as we've seen where like EXs used to be the big thing, then it was like full art, and then full arts got replaced by illustration rares and then the special illustration rare. So the tiers keep changing, and I think this is kind of an indicator as to what the next sort of steps for Pokemon in 2025 and beyond is going to be, is that we will get new rarity tiers that will be new big chases, new price tags, and new market craziness. Obviously, these are Japanese prices at the moment, so when the English set does release, expect these to cut in half pretty much instantly. But then we will see where the English sets debut at and whether or not that is a case of the English card will be more valuable for the MUR than it is the SIR, or if we'll start to see a different sort of trend in the domestic market. But I think this is a bit of an indication as to where Pokemon is going to be headed over the next 6 to 12 months. And there we have it. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of the MUR rarity tier. Whether you think these gold cards are worthy of chasing like they are, or if it's just another gold shiny fad that will soon die out when people realise that it is nothing but a money spinner. But for now, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Pokey Strongman out.